Hey guys, it's Troy here, and I decided to do another pen mail video today. I didn't really plan on doing it today, but I figured, why not, I spent a little bit of time today taking Barney the Beagle to his veterinarian locally for the first time. He had been seen by a vet, when we were adopting him from the animal shelter, so we met all kinds of medical clearances that way. So when I got home, I found a package that was sitting in my mailbox from Fountain Pen Revolution. This is a printout of the sale that the sales receipt. So what I found in it were some pens. Brand new pens for me. Fountain Pen Revolution out of Texas. And this is the booty that came in my package. They have $50 and over purchases get free shipping, so I went ahead and made sure my purchase was over $50 just so I can get the free shipping. And they had a sale on a couple of pens that kind of interested me, so I went ahead and snagged those and a couple of inks that I was kind of interested in. And I'm always interested in adding another black ink to my collection. So this is what I ordered. And this is what showed up. I ordered it just February the 11th. It is today the 17th, so within 6 days it was in my mailbox. And, postage free for me. So, Fountain Pen Revolution, they do not necessarily specialize in upper end pens. They are in lower end pens by and large, mostly from India. Now, they've also carry some other brands that you may be familiar with, some Kaweco stuff, but they're going to have more like Click, and you're going to see some other brands in their lineup that you may or may not be familiar with, like Airmail, Camlin, Guider. They carry some J. Herbin stuff, Canwright, some Lamy, a little bit of Pilot, Ranga, a few Twisbees. But they are known for their inexpensive pens, primarily out of India. And that's where they kind of started to try to get into the affordable market. And I've ordered from them previously. Was never a huge fan of some of the stuff I got because some of it was just very inexpensive and wrote like it was a kind of a cheap pen. But with some of the better quality stuff that they've gotten in here recently, some flex nibs, I figured I'll go ahead and give it a shot just because I had a wild hair and wanted to go ahead and get something new. So, here is my package. This is a pen that they often have El Fribo that they include, and I've got a couple of these already here in my collection. It's a Muft, M-U-F-T. So this isn't something that I'm going to ink up right now, but, I may use it for giveaway, but, it's a very inexpensive, and it's also an eyedropper. One of the things about pens from India, a lot of them tend to be eyedroppered. I guess that is the fashion quite a bit in India, and I haven't really figured that out because I've actually ordered some pens that were name brand that were licensed apparently and manufactured in India, and yet even though they were brands that typically would be a cartridge converter, they tended to be an eyedropper. And what's an eyedropper filler is basically it does not take a cartridge or a converter, and I'm going to use this particular pen to demonstrate because it is a demonstrator, hence the term. But basically you have a section, nib, feed, and then you've got the barrel, and you would put ink into that barrel. And you would use a pipette or an eyedropper, if you will, hence the term eyedropper pen. But you would essentially dump ink into this, and you would not put in a cartridge or a converter, and there's no way to put one in here. I've got little ones like this, and I've got little skinny ones in my collection, and I've got a great big ebonite one as well. So they come in all shapes and sizes. Eyedropper pens all the way back to like the early 1900s. I've had from some of the old Watermans, but it's the same kind of concept that's still around today and is popular. So this being their freebie one, I figured it was going to be a good one on which to demonstrate. And the reason why I am showing you that is because of this one right here. This pen is by Click. Yeah, you're going, Click? Yeah, it's an Indian brand. The first time I heard really about Click pens being distributed here in the United States Frank over at Fountain Pen Revolution became a distributor for Click, and I purchased a couple of Click pens from him. And here, this one really looked kind of cool. I did like the way this one and some other ones looked on the site, and I'm going to show you right here. Click, the bamboo model is what this is. $7.20. Well, I can tell you right now on their website it's showing like $9. So this particular pen is under 10. So I'm going to show you a little more detail from the website on that. But this, I like the style because to me it's very much the traditional, sort of like a Schaefer flat top in design. So you've got that clip, and let's see if it's got, yep, the typical smell that you would find from fountain pens made in India. There's just something about the scent. For those of you who had like Noodler's pens that would have that scent to it, yep, this one's got the same kind of scent. This one here, it says it has a number 8 nib on it on the description. That to me is not a number 8 nib. That looks more like a number 6, so I don't know if that was just a typo on their website or what. But this one, like that Mooft that I just showed you, is also designed to be an eyedropper. So you can see that that feed extends past, right there, past the end of that section. So you're certainly not going to put any kind of cartridge or a converter into this thing. You're also going to dump some ink into that. So I figured I will make that easy. Now, one of the things I'm going to do for eyedropper pens, for those of you who may or may not be familiar with the concept, yes, you've got a good many threads here, but you may want to put a little bit of silicone grease. This is just a little pot of silicone grease, and you can get it in various tubes and little syringe-filled ones of that. I've got a bunch of that laying around just from over the years, but this is the first one I ever picked up years ago, and I still use it. And what I'll probably do is just use like a cotton swab, sort of like this, and I'll get up some of that silicone grease and I'll put it on the threads here, and then I will just seal it up and wipe off any excess. You'll want to have a good many threads like that, a good many turns to help get that good seal in there, but also silicone grease will help that so it won't leak through here. And I've had it leak before on some pens, even though I greased them, or supposedly, allegedly, they were not going to leak because of, let's say, an O-ring that was in place, or tight tolerances and the number of threads. I'm still going to silicone grease it up. One of the things I may do, too, is put in some of the ink samples. These are allegedly 1.7 or 1.8 milliliter vials of ink samples. So there's a couple that they had on their website that I haven't had in my collection, so I figured let's give it a shot. Like the Kaweco Caramel Brown is one that I've seen in some letters from Pen Pals. I figured I'll give that a shot. Some Diamine Purple Pizzazz, Diamine Winter Miracle, which I thought was a cool looking one, and Kaweco Ruby Red. I don't mind a good red once in a while. I've seen some other ones. Now, here's my complaint. Yes, I do have a complaint. My complaint would be simply this. All right, $1.20 for each ink sample. Let's say, move it over here, $1.20, $1.40, $1.60. I'm not complaining about the prices. What I am complaining about is simply, look at the size of those little vials. You're not going to get your nib down into those vials to get a fill. I'm going to have to use an ink miser, which I happen to have here in my collection, and this is what is usually industry standard size ink vial that can hold up to 5 milliliters, but generally you'll see them come in like 2 or 3 mil samples for about the same price that you're seeing here. Okay, like I said, I'm not complaining about the price. I am complaining about the vial. These vials they're probably less expensive, which is probably why they were using them, and they take up less space. Still, it is kind of hard to do anything with these. Let me give you a good example. What a lot of people like to do when they get ink samples is put them into a holder like this. This is a test tube holder. And these nice little sample vials, they fit very nicely in here. I've got 3 of these, and this is the 3rd one, and you can see I only have a few holes left in it, but I've got 2 others that are slam full, and you know, these aren't going to fit in it. So what I've had to do with some other samples that I get from other companies that use non-standard, I'll use that term, non-standard vials, is to put them into some of these that I've already emptied out and relabel them. So I'll probably end up doing that for these 4 here. I'll do some ink swabs and make some swatches out of these and add that to my collection. I keep a Rolodex full of all of that. All right, so I'm probably going to put this ink possibly in this one, I'm not sure, or I may just pour one of these little vials into this pen here. I haven't decided which yet. But let's look at the last set of a couple of pens I got. Now these ones here, they're magnetic. I don't know if they're supposed to be, but you know, they have been, you know, holding to each other. Look, they are magnetic for some reason. It's a little bizarre. But these little FPR pens, they are branded FPR, Fountain Pen Revolution, and you can see right there on the clip. Now they had a buy one, get one free sale, the Quickdraw Flex Fountain Pen. So I went ahead and took them up on that sale. So it was a $32 pen. They look to be quality. They feel decent. It's a metal pen. You got that bicolor top. Came in several different colors. You know, you had the blue, the orange, the yellow, and you can see what I chose. I chose the first one. You could choose like the extra fine flex or the super flex nib. I went ahead and picked a flex nib on it, and it is a cartridge converter pen right there. So it came with a converter in it. I've got some stats I'm going to throw up on there just so you can look at it on your own. So, like I said, I have not inked these up yet, but I will, and that'll be the second half of my video. And for my get one free, I chose the 1.1 stub nib. I figured, what the heck, you know, I can always go for another good 1.1 stub. It doesn't look very stubby here, but we'll find out. And I'll go ahead and ink these ones up and play with them. So there you go. That's my pen mail, along with, you know, like I said, the bottle of black ink, the classic black, the whole bottle of it. I'm pretty boring usually when it comes to inks. I don't mind a good blue, a good black. So anyway, this is my pen mail day. Like I said, I'm probably not going to ink that one up just because I've got several of them. My kids have got several ones of those. But I'll be back in a little bit and just show you how these write. This is kind of a first impression pen mail video day. All right, I am back, and I have inked up these pens. I have done some ink swatches of these 4 inks plus that bottle of black ink. So for those of you who are into that sort of thing, what I do is I put them into an old Rolodex. And I just get these old Rolodex cards. I don't get the you know, the nice expensive ones like the Colodex kind of thing. I just use actual paper that they came with. But this is the Fountain Pen Revolution Classic Black, for those of you who wanted to see that. The Diamine Winter Miracle. There's some kind of sheening that kind of goes on with this one, but it's not all that far off from the Diamine Purple Pizzazz. So even though they are similar, there are a little bit of difference. There's a little bit of difference in these 2 right here. Kaweco Caramel Brown. I was actually thinking about putting this into that eyedropper click pen, but I decided not to because it's only like 1.7 mil. It didn't really look like it was going to give it a good fill, so I went ahead and used that black ink instead. And of course, Kaweco Ruby Red. So for those of you looking for Fountain Pen Revolution, you know, here's a little card they give you when they give you that free Moofed pen. So fountainpenrevolution.com or fprevolution.com. There'll be a link to their website and in the description of this page, this video. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a writing sample. Oh, by the way, for those of you who are just wondering what my Rolodex might look like, all right, so this is, I've got, starting here, I got all my black inks. And then red inks, various reds, all my blues, a bunch of different blues. Keep going, some greens, some purples, browns, pinks, oranges, and anything that's not classified in that. And then behind that I've got some, blank cards that I have yet to go ahead and use. So those color samples are going to end up here in this Rolodex. One of the things that I didn't tell you is I had written on those ink swatches. One of the things I used was an old 1895 Warren's dip pen. I've got a bunch of these here in my drawer, and that was kind of neat. So in order to do the writing rather than ink a pen and then do the writing, I just used a dip pen. So anyway, how did I do for these 3 pens? Well, I'm going to show you, at first, this one here was really hard to get going. You had to get it primed. So you got it filled. I went ahead and, did up that whole thread with the silicone grease, like I said that I would. And I put in a bunch of that black ink, that Fountain Pen Revolution Classic Black. So I went ahead and filled that. And it took a while to get that primed because, like I showed you, that little feed goes back further than the back of that section. So I had to work at it for a little while in order to get ink to flow down in through that section. These two converter pens, cartridge converter pens, I was able to go ahead and ink those up. This one, I went ahead and used some Diamine Sargasso C. I got a bottle of that that I've had for a while. And because that one was blue, and this one being orange, I went ahead and used what I've been using a lot lately when I want to get an orangey ink, some KWZ Grapefruit. By the way, for those of you KWZ who want to argue, no, it should be pronounced Queasy. Well, KWZ is just nothing more than the initials of the Polish guy who made the ink, KWZ. So I'm going to call it KWZ. So there we go. How do they write, though? I'm always leery of pens that are A, Asian made, and B, Indian made. I've not had tremendous success with some pens made out of India, and some I've had good success with. So it really depends upon the pen. So let's go ahead and I'll show you first this one, the Click Bamboo. And yes, you can post it. It is not too heavy, but it is good and long when you go to do that. But so this is the Click Bamboo. Once I finally got ink to flow, it actually started to do well. So it's got a fine nib on it, and I used that FPR Fountain Pen Revolution Classic Black. For a fine nib, it doesn't do too bad. It's actually not scratchy. It is not all that rough on the page. Then again, I am using Rhodia, and I am not disappointed so far. First impressions with this particular pen. I like the way it fits in the hand. It's a decent size for me and my paws. So for a $7.20 pen, well, now it's like $9 on their website. That's not a bad investment by Click right there. I can deal with that. That price point, especially since I got it for a good looking pen for about $7.20. Okay. So how about this one though? How about the one that is branded FPR or Fountain Pen Revolution? This particular one being the one that they had on sale. Their Quickdraw model, the buy one get one free. The $32 pen. Is it worth $32? It's got that 5.5 flex nib on it. So let's go. FPR Quickdraw. And this one has that 5.5 fine flex nib, steel flex. It does all right. I mean, it's not bad. be honest with you, I had to prime it at first, and that gave me a lot of burping on that particular pen. But once I got past the burping on it, it's done all right. Now, granted, for you, it's just real quick, but I had a little bit of time in between, on the recording session off camera, and I was writing with it for a little while, and it did all right. How about this one? The orange one. It had a 1.1 steel stub nib in it. This also the FPR Quickdraw. I wish I had good news to report on this one. FPR. No, see, if I press really hard, I can get some ink out of it. If I press hard, I've been playing with it, trying to get it to write. I got to really press hard to get anywhere with it. Yeah, that's a no can do right there. So if I'm going to make this usable whatsoever, I'm going to have to spend some time. I'll probably pull the friction feed and nib right out of it. I've tried a few little tricks that I know to try to get it to write, and I haven't been able to really get anywhere with it so far. So what you see there, to me, is a disappointment. Now, fortunately, this was the get one free I picked up, so I didn't pay $32 for a garbage pen. But, still, I paid, what, $16? So let's call it a $16 pen. $16 pen? All right, I can get behind that price. $32, not so much, quite honestly. The two together for $32, if they both wrote, yeah, I'd be okay with it. But, it's not a bad-looking pen. Both of them look halfway decent. But anyway, there you go. That's my pen mail day. I'll be using probably that blue Quickdraw and that Click Bamboo for a little while. I'm going to log them in on my spreadsheet where I log the pens and the inks. And I keep track of my stuff that way, and I try to run through them in cycle. My pen pals will be getting letters, I'm sure, with those on it here real soon. Fountain Pen Revolution. This is why I don't order from FPR a lot, because I've had some disappointments with some of their stuff. It's just because they're usually doing low-end Indian-made pens that don't always tend to be top quality, and I've had a few others from FPR that I've been happy with, that I have no complaints about. So go figure, I've had some pens by Click that I've had that were halfway decent, and this one here, not so bad for the money, especially. I can deal with that Click pen. So there you go. Some ideas for your collection, or maybe not, as the case may be. Use your own discretion. Hey, if you want some t-shirts, my Fountain Pen Fanatic t-shirts are available. I've got those marked down as low as humanly possible. Please like and subscribe. Pass the word about our little channel. And I've got some giveaways planned. I got some more videos that are planned. This one was just kind of a spur of the moment thing because, oh, cool, look, pen mail.